level of healing and homeostasis and optimal health. All we need to do is give it what it needs to function properly, but additionally to that, the intelligence technology, we know how to leverage that with what we eat. We understand that on a cellular level, these constituents that are in the essentials can actually communicate, guys, with ourselves. It's incredible. So, inherent cellular technology, inherent cellular intelligence makes up intelligence. All right, so the next evolution, nutritional supplementation. All right, so this is the foundation upon which this whole technology is predicated upon. Is nourish, protect, renew. All right? So, optimal nourishment, USANA's products offer a broad spectrum of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants to nourish yourself. We know that, right? Nourishment. Everybody does. Every vitamin and mineral supplement does that. So it's not anything new. It's not rocket science. It's not a new paradigm. It's a good thing. Absolutely, it's a good thing. But there's nothing new there. However, it's one of a trilogy. All right? It's a tripod upon which, again, this is found, the foundation of the intelligence is based upon. So, enhanced antioxidant protection. This is one of the new conversations that we're having now. Cell signaling, we'll be talking about this a lot going forward. Cell signaling helps your cells protect themselves with powerful endogenous antioxidants. So, endogenous is highlighted. Why is it highlighted? So, let's go the opposite. It's two opposites. One is exogenous, and that's the paradigm that we've all grown up with and that has been accepted for 30, 40 years of nutritional science. Exogenous means from the outside in. So we've been taught, and for very good reason, in order to quench oxidative stress within the body, we take from the outside in beta-carotene, and vitamin C, and vitamin E, and selenium, and on and on and on. That's exogenous, all right? And that's how we address oxidative stress in the body. But the new paradigm now is endogenous, so internal. The body has the ability to protect itself through its own antioxidant defense system. And we can leverage that. We can actually help nurture that, help support that, right? Help make it a much more robust protective mechanism in the body. And we do it through cell signaling. All right? So this is basically what I just said. The old paradigm is exogenous, vitamin C, beta-carotene. The new paradigm now is cultivating that, encouraging that from the inside out. All right, so we just talked about nourish, we talked about protect, antioxidant protection, and now we're going to talk about renewal. This is the biggie right here, is renewal. This is the third of that tripod, all right? Cell signaling also optimizes the process of renewal to recycle aging parts of the cell. Think about that, to renew aging parts of the cell. Those are pretty big words and a pretty big concept. So, triple action support, we're going to go through each product and go through the differences and what we've done to upgrade that product. And we'll talk about all that in just a moment. So, first line of defense, greater absorption properties, reduces oxidative stress, stabilize and eliminate free radicals. We just summed up what I just talked about, all right? So, the first product is, as you know, the core minerals, which was the old chelated minerals. So there's a number of changes that we made with that formula. All right? Essential foundation of optimal nourishment with essential and ultra-trace minerals. Okay, you all know that. What's the difference? So, one of the things that we found out is that in order for minerals to be absorbed properly, they need to be absorbed in an acidic environment. Okay? So, lots of people, there may be some out there now, or certainly people that you do know, that are taking PPIs. Proton pump inhibitors, right? It's for acid reflux, right? It's to reduce the acid in your stomach. What they have found out, though, is that those people that are on those types of medication actually have a higher incidence of vitamin and mineral deficiencies because the acidic environment of their stomach is such that it's undermining the body's ability to absorb these things in the first place. So basically, the people that are taking supplements that are on these medications are basically making expensive pee. It's not efficient, it's not effective. So to help remedy that, what we've done is we've used chelated minerals that are attached to ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid is vitamin C, right? So vitamin C is acidic. And so for a short period of time, we're having an effect on the acidic environment of the stomach to enhance the absorption. It's a huge change that we've made now. Second thing, so we're talking about endogenous antioxidant system. So the most powerful antioxidant known to man is made by the human body. It's made by the human body. It's not vitamin C, it's not vitamin E, it's not beta-carotene, it's actually made in the human body. It's called glutathione. And many of you folks have probably heard about it. Glutathione is actually manufactured in the body. And one of the things that's required to manufacture glutathione is N-acetylcysteine. All right? So what they found is that glutathione is a big molecule. And they do make supplemental glutathione that you can take if you wish. However, it's such a big molecule that it doesn't get absorbed in the body. A lot of it goes out to make expensive pee. It just gets wasted, right? So what we found is that it's much more efficient and effective to give the building blocks to the body. And the primary building blocks is N-acetylcysteine to, again, create, and the body all puts it together very efficiently and effectively, glutathione. All right, now, calcium and magnesium. This is a big story. So we all know calcium's always in the news. It's one of the primary minerals. Bone health, absolutely essential for that. Neurotransmission, nervous system health as well. But what we don't talk about, well, I'll step back a minute. So I'm assuming that some of you folks have heard the news about in the last year that taking too much calcium can actually, they've shown clinically, that it increases the incidence of cardiovascular disease. That's right. Right. Crazy, huh? Now, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, but keep that in mind, because we're going to talk about this in the context of another nutrient. But for this slide here, what I want to talk about for just a moment is the relationship between calcium and magnesium. They're synergists, they're brother-sister minerals. And what we found is actually calcium isn't as difficult to get in the human diet as magnesium is. All right? You find it in dairy foods, calcium. You find it in green leafy vegetables. All right? So it's a lot easier to get that than it is magnesium. But magnesium, however, is involved in 300 different enzymatic processes in the body. 300 are absolutely dependent on magnesium. And most people that are deficient in magnesium actually have to supplement because they can't get it from their diet. So what we did is we balanced it out. We balanced out. In the past, we had a 2-to-1 calcium to magnesium ratio. We've now increased the magnesium to balance out 1-to-1 in consideration of the fact that you can get some adequate amounts, I shouldn't say adequate, but some amounts of dietary calcium in the normal diet, which it's difficult to do with the magnesium. All right? Now we're going to go forward a little bit, and we'll talk about this again in a little bit. All right, Cell Essentials, Vita Antioxidant. This is the product that contains the InCelligence complex. Vita Antioxidant contains optimal amounts of essential vitamins and antioxidants, including the unique InCelligence complex. All right, so stimulates production of endogenous antioxidants and promotes natural mitophagy processes. Keep in mind the word mitophagy. It's going to be really, really important in about 15 minutes. Okay, vitamin A now with 25% preformed retinol. So we all know that beta-carotene is a carotenoid. It's a good thing. We kind of even think that it's kind of vitamin A, right? That's not true. Beta-carotene in the body has to be converted to active vitamin A in order for the body to use it. All right? Now, unfortunately, what we now know, or perhaps fortunately, what we now know is that people, a lot of people, have a difficult time with that conversion. It's an enzymatic process that a lot of people lack either the enzyme or have a very efficient conversion ratio. So they're not converting the beta-carotene that they're getting from their food and their supplements into active vitamin A, creating expensive peas. All right? So in order to circumvent that problem, we actually put in 25% active vitamin A for those folks who have a difficult time converting. It's a big, big deal. Okay, choline level is increased. So what's the big deal about choline? Choline goes to the creation of acetylcholine, which is a neurotransmitter in the brain, which is responsible for memory and for learning. Right? And as we get older, that's a good thing. So, I'm going to ask you guys a question. It blew me away when I first found this out. So, what is now, actually, I'm going to change it now because I'm always I'm a geek, so forgive me. Article, just saw it, it may have been today or yesterday. They are predicting the #1 killer in Australia, of all countries, the #1 killer in Australia to be, somebody said it, Alzheimer's. 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 Did I say that enough? Alzheimer's. That's crazy. The #4 killer domestically is currently Alzheimer's. So it runs in my family. So I really am acutely sensitive about that. So the addition of choline, which helps neurotransmission in the brain, is absolutely vital. All right, vitamin D. You guys are up north. You don't get enough sun. Guess who's vitamin D deficient? You guys. Right? And more than anybody, you folks need to really be taking high doses of vitamin D. So we increase the vitamin D because we love you guys. That's why. It's the only reason we did it. Forget the Asians, forget the Europeans, the Canadians, whatever reason, those guys. All right, vitamin E. So vitamin E, there are 4 fractions of tocopherol, or vitamin E, that's found in nature. All right, 4. So if wheat bran is a good source of vitamin E, but it's found in 4 fractions. So if you look on the label of most products, they talk about alpha tocopherol, right? Alpha tocopherol. That's all they put in there. Alpha tocopherol is a good thing, but we now know that gamma tocopherol, delta tocopherol, beta tocopherol have very, very important properties that alpha is weak in, one of which is cardiovascular health. Gamma is very, very powerful when it comes to cardiovascular health. Vitamin E is actually found in cholesterol. It's found in LDL cholesterol. Now, in and of itself, cholesterol is a good thing. Your body makes it. Why? It makes it for a reason, right? It makes cholesterol for a reason, right? Vitamin D, which the body manufactures, actually comes from the parent compound, cholesterol. All of our hormones, testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, they're all made from cholesterol. It's a good thing. The problem is that when cholesterol gets oxidized, that's the problem. So in the body, cholesterol actually has vitamin D, or vitamin E is found in the cholesterol to prevent LDL oxidation. That's when you start having problems. But since we're all deficient in vitamin E, we end up having high cholesterol, which in and of itself isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'm not going to go down too far in that, but I have a personal opinion about that. But the bigger issue is oxidative LDL. That's the problem. That's what vitamin E can address. But again, one to reflect how it was found in nature, and that's 4 different isomers altogether. All right. Here's where we swing back to the calcium story, all right? So, we did the studies, people that were taking, and at the time I think it was 1,600 milligrams, which I think is the RDA at this point, of calcium a day, and we're finding an increase in cardiovascular disease, right? So what happens is that if you take calcium by itself, it just floats around in your venous structures, in your arterial system, right? And it really has nowhere to go. And so after a while, what happens with chronic or long-term supplementation is that the calcium starts embedding itself and attaching itself to the venous structures of the body, causing or participating in the development of atherosclerosis, which leads to cardiovascular disease, right? But what they didn't tell you, what they didn't even think about, is the vital role that vitamin D and vitamin K2 play in the metabolism of calcium. So vitamin K2 acts as a traffic cop. And so vitamin K2 activates a protein that carries and escorts calcium from the blood into the bones where it belongs. Right? But they don't tell you that. So in order to properly metabolize calcium, to avoid that problem, you have to take vitamin K2. That's the key. That's a huge key ingredient. The Japanese, who are just so brilliant, know about vitamin K2 very intimately. Why? Because part of their diet is has a food called natto. Does anybody know what natto is? Yes, there you go. So natto is a horrific, smelly, rancid. I mean, so if you caught a fish and you wrapped it up in a newspaper and you dug a hole and you stuck it in a hole and then got horse fertilizer and threw it on top of there and let it go for about a year, dug it up, took off the newspaper, that's pretty close to what natto is like. So it's a fermented bean, right? But it turns into this slimy, stringy, snotty thing. But it's really high, very, very, very high in K2. So I was actually in Japan 2 years ago, and they had natto, they served it with breakfast. So it's not, Belgian waffles, pancakes, or little French toast. Nah. So I said, I'm not gonna try some. I'm gonna eat some. So they serve it in little bowls, and I got a bowl, probably the teacup sized bowl, and I'm gonna eat it. So I did, every bite. And you know what? I have to tell you guys, it really sucked. But it has high doses of vitamin K2. And the Japanese they extract the vitamin K2 from this natto, and they use it therapeutically. And so in the hospitals, what they'll do is they'll actually use it to treat atherosclerosis. They can reverse, they've shown scientifically, those clever Japanese, that they can reverse atherosclerosis by the use of K2. It's a therapeutic drug in Japan, all right? The natto is the same source that we use at USANA for this product. It's a big deal. So, you take your calcium, it's a good thing, but K2 is the driver. That's the metabolic driver that's going to make sure that it goes where it is supposed to go in the bones. All right, so do you know why or how the RDAs set their RDA requirements? So I'll give you an example. Every time I ask a question, it's just rhetorical. I don't expect an answer. So vitamin C. So we know that vitamin C is associated with the disease scurvy, right? And we read when we were kids that the British, which were sailing the open seas, and yo-ho and a bottle of rum, they also carried with them lemons and limes because they understood that long times without any kind of the citrus is going to cause a disease scurvy. And let me tell you guys something, scurvy is not a pretty thing, all right? It's not pretty at all. Baby. Oh, so vitamin C, so, all right, I'm back. I'm good. For those of you that are parents, when you hear a baby, it's kind of like takes you back to when, oh, your kids are, you kind of get drawn to it. It's like, is that my my now 13-year-old son? Kind of. All right, so they set the limit of vitamin C, which is 60 milligrams, which isn't a whole heck of a lot. It's not a lot. 60 milligrams to prevent the disease scurvy. Yay. All right? That's all they're doing is just preventing scurvy. Now, what about all the vitamin C you need to manufacture collagen for skin health? What about all the vitamin C that the adrenal glands require to manufacture epinephrine and norepinephrine and cortisol? What about the vitamin C that the immune system needs to manufacture T cells and NK cells? What about that vitamin C? We're just kind of getting by, barely. Now, look at, now this is across the board. All of these associated RDAs are made to fend off an associated disease. Pellagra, beriberi, you guys have rickets, you guys all know about these diseases. These are all nutrient deficient associated disease. And so the RDA was made to stop that from happening. But that's it. So even with these really, really, really low levels, look how many people are deficient in all of these. These are based on RDA levels, not optimal levels, RDA low levels. So, on one hand we have RDA levels, and on the other hand we have optimal levels. So the body has everything it needs to do what it is supposed to do. That's pretty crazy, right? That's disturbing. Level of intakes of essential nutrients that on the basis of scientific knowledge are judged to support satisfactory growth and development, maintain body weight, and prevent nutrient depletion. I'm not sure about satisfactory, but I guess if we're alive, it's all right. So getting only RDA is like setting your income at the government-established poverty level. That's it. We're just going to keep you alive. Right? I mean, I'm not signing up. I don't know about you guys, but I am not signing up for that at all. All right, the second pillar, we're going to go over this in a little bit more detail now, is protect. We talked about nourish, now we're going to talk about protect. All right, cell signaling, here we are again. Cell signaling, we can actually have an effect on these pathways. These are communication pathways that are telling our body what to do and when to do it. We can influence those pathways by our food, and specifically the phytonutrients, phytoplant nutrients, plant-based nutrients that are found in our food. And if we can take the essence of that and really kind of target these pathways, these are the kind of influences that we can have. So, a lot of you folks know about these ingredients. Perhaps you don't know exactly why they're in there. We're going to go over that as we go on. I want to talk about one in particular. So, I had a teacher. He was an Ayurvedic practitioner. It's an Indian system of natural medicine. And he said to us that if there was one herb, and only one herb, that he could use for the rest of his life to treat his patients, only one, that herb / botanic would be curcumin. Curcumin comes from the Indian spice turmeric. and it's absolutely fantastic. They are actually doing studies at MD Anderson Cancer Clinic in Dallas, Texas, using high-dose curcumin in your cancer patient. It is one of my top 2 botanicals to use when I was in practice. It is absolutely powerful. So we at USANA recognized that, and so what we did, curcumin is notoriously difficult to absorb. It's just so difficult to absorb. The molecule, it just has a hard time. Probably 10% of what you take in gets absorbed, and the rest goes to expensive pee. So what we did is we scoured high and low for the best form of curcumin, and that's what the Mariva is. It's 26 times more bioavailable than normal curcumin. That's the amount of detail, that's the amount of importance that we place on that botanical in addition to how they work together. So these are the ones that are responsible for, again, supporting and coaxing and enhancing the body's ability to upregulate endogenous defense systems. That's all what we're talking about, is food is information. Food is information. Food contains, in the form of phytochemicals, little code words. And those code words will actually help tell the body and guide it to what to do, what's in our best interest. All right? And again, the body knows what to do, but this just kind of enhances that conversation. All right? Oh, what did I do? I did bad. All right, so you didn't see that. You didn't see it. Ah, my act's ruined. You have this kind of information, right? You have this kind of information. Spices, we were just talking about turmeric, and spices are very, very powerful. And they have a lot of different health properties, all right? So you have this kind of information, and you have that kind of information, all right? So you can tell by looking at this how the body is going to react to that particular type of information. All right? Okay, now, we have a video for your entertainment pleasure.
A free radical is an unstable molecule that wants to steal an electron from other molecules or give its own away. This makes it highly reactive and destructive to important proteins and cellular structures, including your DNA. Free radical damage is also known as oxidative stress. Free radicals are normal byproducts of molecular processes in the body, and the delicate balance of their presence is beneficial for normal cellular responses and healthy immune function. But stressful lifestyles, poor diets, and toxicity in the environment increase free radical activity. Runaway oxidative stress disrupts many important cellular processes and is a factor in many unhealthy conditions. Your body keeps oxidative stress under control with antioxidants, which are molecules that neutralize free radicals. You can get many antioxidants through healthy nutrition, and even more through supplementation. And your cells are designed to produce their own. USANA's patented Cell Essentials with InCelligence can optimize your body's natural ability to generate its own antioxidants. One of the many functions of the InCelligence complex is to target the transcription protein known as NRF2. Once activated, NRF2 travels deep inside the nucleus of your cells. Built into your DNA are the instructions for your body to create the millions of biomolecules necessary for life. NRF2 binds to the DNA, initiating transcription. The activated DNA produces strands of RNA, which in turn assemble extremely powerful antioxidant enzymes like glutathione peroxidase, catalase, and superoxide dismutase. These antioxidant warriors then join the battle against free radicals. Each antioxidant enzyme can neutralize thousands of free radicals. With InCelligence, you can optimize one of your body's most powerful ways to defend itself. Antioxidant production inside your body promotes unparalleled protection from oxidative stress.
That's pretty cool, right? This isn't science fiction. This is real, right now, in that bottle. So, again, the old paradigm was one molecule of vitamin C will neutralize one free radical. After that's done, vitamin C is going home, it's putting on its slippers, it's cracking a Molson, and it's done. It's done for the day. But not glutathione, not SOD, not catalase. They're the hardest working antioxidants in the body. And they're going to neutralize hundreds and thousands. One molecule. That's what we want to encourage. That is vastly more efficient and effective in terms of antioxidant protection. So essentially, by taking vitamin C, beta-carotene, and again, I'm not impugning that at all. They have other functions in the body. Like I said, vitamin C has a lot of different functions in addition to acting as an antioxidant. Same with vitamin E. Same with beta-carotene. But when we're talking about antioxidant protection, what you're doing is you're giving the body a fish. Now, I'll take a fish, but I would rather learn how to fish so I don't have to depend on somebody giving me a fish. And that's essentially what you're doing with these nutrients. You just talked about NRF2. Again, these are the folks, these are the compounds that are responsible, again, for encouraging that process in the body. All right, and here's our friend curcumin again. At the bottom, you'll see something that's probably new to you folks. It's called pterostilbene. It's actually a compound that's related to resveratrol, but what we're finding out is that it's actually maybe more powerful than resveratrol. So that's a big change. It's a big addition that we've made to this formula. All right? So those are the things that your body will respond to that will upregulate NRF2. But as we age, that reaction doesn't happen very efficiently and effectively. In addition to that, we get overwhelmed by all the stuff we were talking about earlier from our environment. So cells can sense when they are stressed. And these pathways can be turned on and turned off depending on what they're needing. What we want to do is put the body in a more ready, flexible, reactive state. That's what we're trying to do. Through InCelligence, your body promotes unparalleled antioxidant protection from oxidative stress by unlocking natural processes. All right? So, finally, renew. This is a biggie here. Cell signaling also optimizes the process of renewal to recycle aging parts of the cell. All right, so let's go back in time. When we were in 6th grade, 7th grade science class, let me ask you a question. What does that do?
Powerhouse on the cell.
It's the power plant of the cell. That's right. Right? It's the fact that it makes energy. Specifically, it makes ATP. ATP is the molecule that the cells use for all its metabolic functions, right? It's absolutely indispensable. That's what mitochondria does. All right? Got another cartoon. Oop, do it again.
The mitochondria are your body's energy factories. They produce ATP, nature's universal energy molecule. ATP powers everything from the beating of your heart to the firing of your neurons. Some of the waste products created during energy production are destructive free radicals. As mitochondria age, they grow less efficient, producing less energy and more free radicals, causing more damage. The body naturally replaces old mitochondria, but sometimes that process isn't as regular as we want. The signaling molecule known as mTOR plays a role in the communication that triggers the renewal of old mitochondria. The InCelligence complex targets mTOR, tempering its activity to free other key biochemical messengers. These messengers bind to aging mitochondria, signaling mitophagy in the cell, or the assimilation of the degraded mitochondria. Elements from the old mitochondrion are recycled into a new one. With InCelligence, you can optimize one of your body's key renewal processes. Mitophagy reduces free radical damage, promotes efficient energy production, and renews aging cellular components.
Wow, indeed. You know, as we get older, probably when we start hitting around 40, that process is really, really, really inefficient and ineffective. So we really need to encourage that process to make energy, right? Now, the other problem is that as these mitochondria start to age, they produce less energy and more free radicals. So more pollution with less energy. So again, the InCelligence complex can help increase the rapidity in terms of this mitochondrial turnover. And so one of the things that the effects that people keep reporting to us is making the switch, just even making the switch from essentials to cell essentials is, my energy level is just gone up. There's something wrong with the old cell essentials. That was a great product. You know, it was a great product. But this evolution has just made it even better. And that's one of the first things we hear from people. mTOR, that's the process. Or that is the pathway. That's the pathway that these phytonutrients can influence, mTOR. And there's our guys again. So keep in mind that these phytonutrients don't work as drugs. They don't have one specific target. They don't do one specific thing. They work softly, and they have a lot of different properties. And they can influence a lot of different parts of human health and a lot of different pathways. All right? Some are better than others at doing certain things. So we formulated this to enhance certain properties. All right? And it's the combination together that really is important. Activates the genes. The genes, we're talking about a genetic level here. This is crazy. Our food. Upregulates mitochondrial turnover to more efficiently and effectively produce energy and reduce oxidative stress. That's what I just said. Biology of aging has changed over the years. We now know aging can be modulated genetically, environmentally, and pharmacologically. We can influence, again, beating us to death by what we put in our bodies, right? So, review. InCelligence, you can optimize one of your body's key renewal processes. Mitophagy reduces free radical damage, promotes efficient energy production, and renews aging cellular components. So again, mitophagy is the process, mTOR is the pathway. We're influencing mTOR to produce a mitophagic response. We have 3 patents we're working on. We just applied for the patents for this InCelligence technology. Unfortunately, my name's not on there. These guys are just brilliant. Dr. Brown, Dr. Cuomo, Dr. Chen. And they were part of the product development team as well, too. I just make stuff. I don't get to put my name on patents, but that's all right. USANA's products offer a broad spectrum of vitamins and minerals and antioxidants to nourish your cells. All right? Nourish pillar, 1. Number 2, cell signaling helps your cells protect themselves with powerful endogenous antioxidants. We're no longer talking about taking high doses of antioxidants. We're talking about stimulating a more adaptive response in the body to be more responsive to the needs of the environment and of the body. Endogenous antioxidants. All right, number 3, cell signaling also optimizes the process of renewal, that's the 3rd pillar, to recycle aging parts of the cell. So, It's three properties that make the cell essentials so powerful. Okay? It's three properties that make cell essentials so powerful. Or to put it another way, it's three properties that make the cell essentials so powerful, eh? Huh? Huh? Did you get it? And guys in the back. Woo! All right, fine, be that way. The next evolution of nutritional supplements is here. The conversation is new. It's different. The narrative is much different. And as you know, everything we do helps you love life and live it. Thank you for your attention.